Hey guys, I'm Federico from BOCCONI TV and we are here at the 79th Venice Film Festival. I'm here joined by Pedro Harres, who is a Brazilian director, scriptwriter and installation artist based in Berlin. He's competing now in the Venice Immersive, which is an exhibition of virtual and augmented reality projects made by daring new artists. So, Pedro, can you tell us more of what you're presenting at the Venice Immersive?
Yes, I'm presenting a project called From the Main Square. It's a VR experience that lasts between 19 to 24 minutes, and it's something between a game and a film, so to say. You are in the middle of a city, and then all of a sudden things start to pop up around you, so to say, and the thematic of it's political polarization. And it was entirely animated in 2D, which means that everything is hand-drawn, although it's virtual reality. And that's, I think as far as I know, is the only project with that aesthetic. And it was produced in Germany at the Babelsberg Film University for 3 to 4 years. It was quite a long project to be done.
Oh, so yeah, the city is one of the main focuses of your work, and you speak about Brazil and Berlin. What do these two places mean to you and your work?
Well, in this work specifically, I think that Brazil, it stays pretty much on the theme, because as we were producing it, there was the rise of the semi-fascist, fascist government of Bolsonaro in Brazil, and I could always check the news and see how things were going, and I could also feel through social media how the society was polarizing and the interactions between people were getting more and more hostile. And on the spatial point of view, the project is pretty much inspired by the velocity that Berlin is changing, because Berlin is a city that is undergoing a very harsh and fast process of gentrification. And sometimes you walk through the city in Berlin, and you walk on a street on 1 week and there's not a building there, and then 1 week later there's a whole brand new building over there, and the city is just changing in a very, very rapid pace. So I kind of like mix these two ideas to put the story together. Yeah, and also talking about the medium that you use, because you actually, this is not your first time at the Venice Film Festival. You were here at the 71st with a short film called Castillo e l'Armado. Yes, exactly.
And it still had that sketch and drawing feeling. But what made you change from short film to VR? What caused that spark?
Okay, actually this project that I'm presenting here, when it was born, the first idea, that was more than 10 years ago, it was also a short film. And the original idea was that it wasn't a city, but it was just one single building, and there will be like two groups of people that will be fighting for its visual and structural identity until it collapsed, so to say. But it happens that I work with a Brazilian illustrator called Daniel Eizeric, and he's a true genius, but at the same time he's very, very rebellious. And one time, like, I asked him, hey, can you do a concept of the building? And instead of one single building, he made a city. Just like that. And I look at the drawing and say, okay, that's a very good drawing, and I think it's a good concept, but our script is about a single building. And then I said, like, well, can't you change it? And then after that, like, the project was in the drawer for a while, and then there was a moment that I was at the Babelsberg Film University, and there was a lot of funding actually for doing VR. And then I looked at the concept and say, well, maybe we can do this in VR, why not? So that's how things shifted to VR. But it is, to be honest, like my first project in VR, and it's very different than doing a film. It's a complete other mindset that you have to do, because a VR experience, when it is interactive, from the technical point of view, it's kind of a video game, you know. So like when you're doing a film, like everything is linear, and whatever you decide is what people are going to see. And when they are immersed in a world, like they look around and the environment reacts to them. So it's way more experimental, and you have to test a lot, and you have to give up a lot of your how can I say, your wishes for details, because people just have the freedom to look whatever they want to.
And so you also talk about your amazing team of creative minds. How, from a point of view, like from a managerial point of view, did you manage to find the investors and also keep those creative minds working for a common goal?
Okay, so this project, like it was done through the Babelsberg Film University, and it had the support of Brandenburg Medium Board, which is a cinema institution that funds projects in the Brandenburg and Berlin area. So we applied to some funds that were specific for Filmschule, like film schools in sorry for the German word, in Germany. And then the team, it was a mix of some students with some professionals that we hired specifically for the project. And how can I say, with artists, with illustrators, you can always go by their portfolio to choose them. But for programmers and this kind of people that are more IT related, in order to track them down, you really need some reference about what they do, because it's really hard to, how can I say, to evaluate their work from an external point of view. So you have always to rely on their reputation among other people that have worked with them before.
Yeah. And also, you speak of yourself as a pioneer in the jungle of virtual reality. And so now that there's a lot of talk about the metaverse and its ups and downs, and what do you see will be the future of the metaverse, of virtual reality products, and especially artistic ones?
Okay, I think that actually augmented reality has way more possibilities to drastically alterate, modify our perception of the world than virtual reality, because virtual reality is kind of a certain mode of escape, that you put this headset and then you're not seeing, you're not hearing a world, but you're just like somewhere else. And this has a potential even to addict people, to be honest. But I think that augmented reality, as it can like make a mix between what we see in the real world and ads, links, and whatever can appear in front of our eyes, it has a bigger potential, to be widespread. Although I think it can be really like a horrible experience when you're like going somewhere and then suddenly you see banners in your eyes. It will be like I hope we don't get to that. And regarding Metaverse, to be honest, I never entered it that much, because I was so much focused on doing this project, and this was like so many hours using VR headsets that I really said, okay, I don't want to see further things in VR. Just the artistic works that I like to see as a reference, and my project. Because also there's something about VR headsets that they are still not reached a level that people can use them comfortably for a very long period of time. You know, like they kind of like still stresses the eyes a little bit. And as a VR developer, like I was even like I was using it a lot. I even went to some ophthalmologists and said like, okay, like I work with my vision. My vision is important. Like, how many hours of this can I do? And then the guy says, well, you can do a lot of hours, but you should really take a rest for your eyes and not look at any screen in the meanwhile, because you're actually putting two LCD screens just in front of your eyes with big lenses, you know, and just like strapping this to your head, and at the same time that your eyes are kind of trying to look at a distance, because the images are three-dimensional. The light emission is really close to it, so your how can I say? I forgot the name. But there's a muscle in your eyes that's be constantly like contracting and relaxing due to this paradoxical situation.
Yeah. So, can we expect in the future some augmented reality works from you? Are you going in that direction, or are you still expanding in the virtual reality and traditional media?
Well, I think that my next project is gonna go in direction of traditional media. I'm thinking about working in series in the future, but I know that I have this I know that I have this tendency to like innovation, so I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, if I come with an idea of something for augmented reality and then I have a project for that next year. Like, it's just like that. I have this thing that I'm drawn to innovation.
Well, I hope you'll do, and I hope you'll find so many wonderful ideas for augmented reality and everything else.
Thank you
so much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Ciao.